Yo guys, what is going on? It is Invin here, and today what I'm bringing to you all is a video on what I think about the XP changes that were released yesterday in New World's 1.5.3 update, and generally the way that the PvP quests and reward track are working out after these changes. The reason for doing this video is there's been seemingly a 50-50 split in the comments. Some of you really enjoying the change, some of you liking it for certain reasons but overall thinking it's a bad move, and some of you just completely thinking it's a bad move. So what I'm going to do is talk through the logic as to why I think they've done it and what I think that the community would like to see going forward for them to kind of turn this one around. So, firstly, starting off with what the change actually was. For those of you that missed it, yesterday's change is essentially bringing down the amount of PvP XP and Azov Salt received from doing PvP faction missions or faction quests. Now, when these are completed, these were giving you 500 XP, which was a very, very good amount, and this has been reduced to 350. Now, whilst this is still decent, it is not at the level it was. But what is more of a hitter is in Great Cleave, you've actually seen a further reduction on this. And that is kind of what people are pretty upset about, because obviously Great Cleave was kind of the hotspot. Everyone was there, everyone was PvPing, everybody was questing together or against each other. And some servers, yeah, there may have been an unfair balance, but on a lot of servers it seemingly became the PvP hub, whilst players were getting PvP XP for kills and of course for completing those quests, if they managed to do it with the fairly hostile surroundings that were taking place. However, it was a lot of people's kind of fun to be in that area, as there was a lot of people running around, lots of open world PvP going on, lots of kind of groups formulating, even random alliances between different factions or even within the same faction, but groups who weren't usually allied teamed up to kind of control the area, and it was quite a fun thing on a lot of servers and for a lot of players. So I think that the reason that this change has hit particularly hard is because they've extra nerfed the Great Cleave area. Now, like I said there, this was a great source of open world PvP that a lot of players were enjoying, and instead of capitalising off this, we've seen a further nerf. Now, the rationale behind this nerf, in my opinion, is because obviously it was a super fast way to farm the PvP XP. Maybe it was a little bit too much than what they wanted it to be in terms of players were getting the levels too quick, the better rewards too quick. I'm not entirely sure, but something around there seems like it maybe didn't work out too well. Now, in terms of why they've done the change, I think bringing it more in line with the PvP activities is the correct move, because I do think that the PvP activities like, you know, your arenas, your 3v3 arenas, the PvP in OPR, and of course open world PvP kills. Open world PvP kills you do get a fair amount for, but maybe it could be brought up a little bit. But in my opinion, what I would rather have seen from the New World team is, let's get the XP up for the arenas, let's get the XP up for the OPR, and in that instance what we would have seen is more incentive to do those activities, but not less incentive to do the faction missions, because again, the open world PvP that it was creating was a lot of fun. Now, of course, you can still do it, and of course, you know, it hasn't completely nerfed it into the ground, but for a lot of players, the incentive just is not there, and instead, they'd much rather do the arena games, for example, which, if that is the aim of this update, then fair enough, I can understand that to a certain extent. However, what I believe would have been a better option, and what I believe the community really would have wanted to see, is just buff the other two, just buff the arenas, buff the OPR XP that you get. Leave Great Cleave the same, leave faction missions the same, maybe even buff some of the other areas that take a little bit longer to complete, so that Great Cleave is maybe slightly less, but you're not actually getting less XP as a player, it's just the other areas have been buffed. So technically in the long run it's less, but players can still do the same methods, because, you know, people worked this out, people thought, yeah, that's a good run, I'm going to keep doing it, and I know a lot of players are pretty upset that now Great Cleave on a lot of servers is pretty much dead. Now, what they could have done is leave it as kind of a PvP hub, let it be an area that players could fight it out, and, you know, maybe they could have added in some challenges. Maybe some Varagian Knights could spawn in that are level 60 that have a hunting party, and they randomly pass through and spawn in and try and attack players to kind of add a little bit of chaos there. They could have added some random events, they could have added extra spawn locations for the packages, although to be honest, I think leaving it the same and buffing the other instances of XP would have been a better choice. However, like I said there, I can see the rationale, I can see them wanting to push the PvP game modes more. I just believe that the community, the reason some of the community are annoyed is because they would rather have seen a buff to other XP, and that left as it is. Now, a lot of other players have kind of said, well, actually, this needed to be done sooner, this is a great change, and a lot of players liking the way that it's gone. So like I said, it is quite a 50-50 split. split at the moment. The forums and the community pages on Reddit and stuff like that are pretty much filled with a lot of people saying no thanks and a lot of people saying, yeah, it's great. I think the players that are happy with the change are mostly glad that it's been nerfed because it was a really, really fast way to get leveled up compared to the other stuff. And if it wasn't your thing doing faction missions, then you were kind of out of the ball game. So that's why I said kind of buffing all of the XP would have been great, but it's definitely understandable why it's been done. I just feel like maybe the buff would have been a better option to go down. However, there is still time for them to change this or maybe adjust it in the future. So of course, do let me know your guys' thoughts and feelings down below in the comments. Is this a good change? Is this not a good change? And more to the point, why do you think that? Is it because you prefer doing other sorts of game modes? Or is it just because it was too much XP in your opinion? Or do you think it's not a good change because you liked getting that, you like the open world PvP? You know, there's lots of different options. I think if they made camps destructible, would that change your opinion? Would you then like it to go back to how it was? Camps are actually destructible, then we can fight it out and go for control as a faction over a particular area. Either way, I don't know, but do let me know down below in the comments what you think to that. But that is going to be it. Just wanted to do a quick sort of opinion-based piece here, just because a lot of people have been sort of commenting to me and tweeting me and things like that about this. So I wanted to give you my perspective and my thoughts on why they've maybe done it and, you know, do I like it? Overall, I think I would have preferred a buff, but I can understand why this is the case. So I'm kind of not too bothered either way, although if they were to buff the XP, I would be very happy with that, of course, as well. But that's going to be it for today, guys. So I would like to thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. Make sure you drop in a subscribe and a like if you haven't already done so, as both of the things really help to support my channel, so I'd really appreciate it. And other than that, I will catch you again very, very shortly on a brand new upload. So take care, guys, and peace.